from Inverness in the north of Scotland. So today I'm going to be taking a very exciting train journey on the far North Line. This stretches between Inverness and Thurso on the very north coast of Scotland. On this line is a train station that is the least used train station in Scotland and the 7th least used train station in the whole of the UK. Between April 2022 and April 2023, this train station was only used by 124 passengers. So it's only used around once every 3 days. I don't think there's much to do at this station or around this station. So before I leave Inverness, I'm going to pick up some lunch and some snacks. Let's get going. Beside the train station is a Marks and Spencer's, and I got this mozzarella and pesto wrap. This is one of my favourites. In Scotland, I think the best place to get sandwiches is Marks and Spencer's, especially if you're looking for a more healthy option. So the train is about to leave shortly. Let's go inside Inverness train station. This will actually be my first time in Inverness train station, and I think it's my first time or second time only in Inverness. So let's go inside. So I am in the station already and the train looks like it's here on platform 5. I checked on the board and I did check at the ticket office as well, because this is not a stop where the train always stops, you have to request it. So the man at the ticket office said to mention to the conductor when I get on the train, and then they'll stop there. If you don't actually request to stop, the train will just continue on and not stop there. So I'm going to head onto the train now. But I faced an issue with my tickets, so I actually purchased tickets in advance online yesterday on scotrail.com. Usually I use Trainline to book my tickets. However, I paid for the tickets online. I went to scan the tickets, but I couldn't open them and couldn't use them because I had to have the ScotRail app. But I can't download the app because I've forgotten the password for my Apple ID, and to reset that will take time. It takes an hour because it puts my phone into security mode. So I had to buy the tickets again. So the tickets were £35.90 for the return journey. That's a day return for an adult. And I have the phone number of ScotRail, which I'm going to call and try and get a refund for the first set of tickets. So if you're planning to use ScotRail, make sure you download the app in advance and have the tickets ready, because that's really annoying actually. From Inverness and we're going into the countryside. I can see lots of greenery and the sea. The train is actually not very busy. There's lots of spare seats, which is good. Something I always notice when I travel by train, it's the same when I went to Carrour Station last year. I always think the windows are really dirty and you cannot see the view properly, especially because I'm trying to film a video. However, at Inverness Station, I did see someone with a bucket and a mop, and they were cleaning the windows on another train. So the windows are cleaned, but I can imagine they probably get covered in lots of things because they're moving so fast and facing lots of different weather. But it's a shame. Here is a socket, so you can charge your phone with a USB. This is at the seat with the table. And then opposite here is the luggage rack, which is very useful. Okay, so I'm coming to check the tickets now. So this is when I'm going to request to get off at the station.
All tickets, please. Good morning.
Hello. So I'm going
Scotscalder for yourself as well?
Yes,
no,
so I need to request this.
Yeah, it's there's already somebody else getting off at Scotscalder, believe it or not.
Is that unusual?
Yeah, well, I've got loads of request stops, which usually happens like a heart attack.
Oh, and I'm coming back later tonight, so how do I make sure the train stops?
So as long as you go in plenty of time, be in the station a good few minutes before it's scheduled to come, there's a button, there's a screen, it's like a request button. Just press that button and it'll let the driver know.
Okay, good, because it's the last train, so I don't
it'll be us anyway, so,
right,
so you'll be expecting you.
Okay,
no issues.
Okay, thanks. Back actually quite surprised that someone else is getting off at Scotscalder. So usually there's a passenger once every 3 days. Today there's going to be 2 passengers getting off there. The train journey is over 3 hours to get there from Inverness. Depending on the train you book, they take different lengths of time. However, the train that I'm taking is 3 hours and 22 minutes to go from Inverness to Scotscalder. There's other ones that take 3 hours 38, 3 hours 29, so it depends on the train that you book. We've just arrived at the first stop here, the Muir of Word. Take that many trains because I have the campervan. I usually travel in that. I will show you what a Scottish train looks like. The train is only made up of 2 carriages, and in this section here there is a bin, no toilet here. So I'll walk down the first carriage, go into the second one. I wonder if there's a cafe on the train. I quite fancy a coffee actually. Behind that door there must be the driver steering the train safely along the tracks. There's someone coming with a tea and coffee cart. Let's see what they have. What do you have?
So, drink-wise, I've got teas, coffees, hot chocolates, cappuccino, caramel lattes, or Coke, Diet Coke, either brew, alcohol, black,
I think just the coffee, black coffee is fine, yeah, thank you.
Any sweeteners or sugar?
No, thanks.
I've also got savoury cheese or a roast chicken salad sandwich as well.
Okay, I got a sandwich at Marks and Spencer's before I came. Thank you though. Usually I don't buy things on the train, but I was feeling a little bit sleepy and I'm a little bit hungry. I don't think I bought enough at Marks and Spencer, so I got coffee, and they had a special deal where you can get a piece of fruitcake for £4.
The next stop is Invergordon.
Invergordon. This is so good. To be honest, I'm quite surprised to see a cruise ship here. I guess the people are getting off the cruise ship and going to Inverness. I'm not sure, but cruise ships are a little bit of a controversial topic, I think. When I visited Shetland and Orkney, I spoke to some locals who had quite divisive opinions about the cruise ships. There's definitely pros and cons to them. So it's interesting to see that there's a cruise ship here in Invergordon. I wonder how often they come in here. I've come down the carriage now, and this is the joining part between the carriages, and there is a toilet here. So I'm in the train toilet, and then there's the buttons for locking the door. Does anyone else feel like they never trust the buttons to lock it? I don't know, I much prefer the manual lock. The Far North Line is one of the most scenic railway routes in the United Kingdom, running through the rugged and remote landscapes of the Scottish Highlands. It stretches from Inverness to Thurso and Wick, the northernmost towns on the British mainland. Covering 168 miles, this single-track line offers a slow and leisurely journey that showcases some of Scotland's most breathtaking scenery. The route passes a variety of landscapes, including rolling hills, lochs, rivers, stunning coastlines, and remote moorlands, including flow country, a vast peatland considered one of Europe's most important ecosystems. The line is particularly known for its isolation, with many stretches having no road access. We've been on the train for over 2 hours now, and we've come a bit more inland, and the scenery is so amazing. All the landscape is tinged orange with the autumn colours. It's beautiful. It's so nice travelling by train window and enjoy the views. I understand why train travel is so popular among so many people. Maybe I should do some more train journeys. The only thing is it's quite hard to film because the windows can be quite dirty. So I'm going to have my lunch before we arrive. I think there's around 30 minutes before we arrive at the station.
Stop me, I've called on it, not you.
I've made it to the door area. The train will be arriving at Scotscalder very soon. I think we have around 2 minutes before we arrive.
Ladies and gentlemen, we'll shortly be calling at the next request stop, Scotscalder. So I believe there's passengers for that station this afternoon. The next stop service is Scotscalder request stop. Thank you.
The entire journey from Inverness to Wick takes around 4 to 4.5 hours. I've just noticed that it started raining, and I'm sure you're going to know what I'm going to say. That when I checked the weather forecast this morning, there was no rain forecast. And I didn't bring my rain jacket. Always happens to me. Oh, I think we're arriving.
This is Scotscalder. This train is for Wick. The next stop is Inverness.
So I have made it to Scotscalder, the least used railway station, and it is pouring with rain. I'm going to go inside the shelter here for a moment. I have made it and I'm inside the shelter here. So there was one other passenger that got off the train here at Scotscalder. His name is Andy, and he offered me a lift actually because he said we're in the middle of nowhere, and he asked what I was doing getting off here and where I'm going and if I needed a lift to the next town. So that was very kind. But I told him I'm just going to be spending a few hours here at the station before heading back to Inverness. Before I go out and explore what is here at the station, I want to say a quick thank you to today's video sponsor, Incogni. If you've ever received junk mail, spam phone calls, texts, or emails, it's likely they got your details from a data broker. Data brokers are companies that scrape the internet for your personal information, and they make money by buying and selling your information. With enough pieces of data, these data brokers can form a picture of you. They call it a shadow profile, and others can use this profile in ways that you might not want. For example, assessing you when you apply for insurance, getting a job, or even applying for a loan. This is where Incogni comes in. Incogni is a service that you give permission to, and they go out and get you removed from these lists. They reach out to these data brokers and say, remove this person, and then they follow up to make sure you actually got removed. So as you can see here in my profile, here are the requests they've sent, the ones that are in progress, and the ones they've completed on my behalf. With their yearly subscription, Incogni are consistently monitoring for you, protecting your data, and making sure that you don't end up back on these lists. You can take control of your personal data by using Incogni. Right now, they have 60% off their annual plan. You can visit incogni.com/Ruth Ashling and use the code Ruth Ashling at checkout to get 60% off. Or you can visit the link in the description or scan the QR code on the screen now. Now let's go and explore more of the station. As you can see behind me, it says request stop. As I was getting off the train, the man said to me on the way back later to Inverness, I need to press this button, the request stop button. So I should press that 5 minutes before the train is due to arrive so that the driver will be notified that there's a passenger here wanting to get on the train. He said it's also possible to put your hand up like this and notify the driver that you want to get on the train. The next train is actually the one that I'm going to be getting back to Inverness here at 4:50. So there's no more trains due until later on this afternoon. Yeah, there's 2 more going to Wick later on this afternoon. So it's unlikely there'll be any trains passing unless there's maybe a cargo train or something like that that's not on the regular schedule. That happened quite a lot at Karur actually when I was there last year. There were different trains passing, cargo trains, and I saw some sleeper trains as well passing, and none of those we're actually on the schedule, so you never know, some trains might pass. There are around 30 stations along the Far North Line, and a few are request stops, which emphasises the rural and sparsely populated nature of the region. The Far North Line has been in operation since 1874 and was originally constructed by various local railway companies. The line played a significant role in connecting remote Highland communities to the rest of Scotland and continues to serve this function today. It was crucial for the transportation of goods, such as agricultural produce, during the early 20th century. Despite being a remote line, the Far North Line remains operational year-round, with a few services running daily. It's seen as a vital link for the communities in the north, providing essential connections for both people and goods. It has stopped raining, very predictable Scottish weather. 5 minutes later the rain has stopped, and let's go out and have a look around now. So the platform is quite short. I was reading that they can fit a train here that has 4 carriages on this platform. Here's some information about onward travel from here. So it says the nearest taxi rank is in Halkirk, and the nearest bus stop is also in Halkirk, 6.4 kilometres away. The village centre is 100 metres away, and here there's a car park at the station and a customer assistance phone. And then here is a map of the station. Also says there are no tickets here at the station, so you need to buy your tickets on the train. So there's also this, so you can press the button and speak to someone. There is also this house here, and it looks like someone lives in there because there's a car outside, so maybe that was the old station master's house and it's now a private house. It looks very nice. I'm not sure I'd want to live that close to a railway though. Oh wow, there's another rainbow there inside the bridge. How incredible is that? On the building there's a beautiful old clock. It says Scotscalder 1874. That's exactly 150 years ago. Andy, who offered me the lift, he said that there's an exhibition next week for the 150 years of the Far North Line. So this station must have opened at the same time as the Far North Line. And it's going to be in Thurso, I think he said. And I might be in that area, so maybe I'll go and see it. I think it'd be quite interesting to learn more about this railway line because it is in such a remote part of Scotland. As we were preparing to get off the train, they said that the gap is really big between the train and the platform. And on the platform here, they have this step. So that must be for people who need an extra bit of help to get off the train. Maybe the gap is a bit too much for them. I actually need the toilet, so I can see a toilet in the distance, but it looks like there might be a lock on it. Behind me here are 2 parking spaces for cars. So there's not much parking here. Here is the toilet. Solar loo. Oh, it's not looking good. No. No. Oh dear. I'm going to walk up to... Oh, it started raining again. I'm going to go back into the shelter and wait out the rain. And then I'll go up and have a look at what's nearby. As I've mentioned many times already, Scotscalder is the least used train station in Scotland. In the Scottish Highlands, there are 7 railway stations that are part of the least 20 used railway stations in the UK. So this is number 1, Scotscalder Station. 124 passengers embarked or disembarked from trains here at this station between the period of April 2022 and April 2023. I will also share some of the other stations in the Highlands as well and the passenger numbers. So second least used train station in Scotland is nearby here. It's called Kildonan Station and they had 148 passengers. Next was, okay, some of these names are a little bit tricky to pronounce, so I'm going to read them out. Next was Loch Louis Chart. Loch Louis Chart. It had 128 passengers. Then it's Invershin with 232 passengers. Then Altnabreck, which had 280 passengers. However, that train station is also close to here. It is currently closed due to some issues with the road access to the station. Then we have Achenalt with 282 passengers, Coleraine with 304 passengers, and for anyone that's interested, the quietest train station in the whole of the UK is called Teesside Airport Station, and between April 22 and April 23 they recorded only 2 passengers. If anyone's been there, please let us know in the comments. All over the UK there are 2,600 stations on the network. Now that the rain has stopped again, let's go for a wander and see what is around here at Scotscalder station. Are we really in the middle of nowhere? There's an hour and a half now until the train comes to pick me up to go back to Inverness. I've made it up to the bridge and there's the railway line behind me, so that was where the train went. So that heads on to Thurso and Wick, and then the other side over there is the way back to Inverness. I'm standing on the bridge here in the middle of the road, but this road goes on and on and on. Goes on for miles. I don't think I'm going to walk down there. I might have a little wander. Let's go for a little wander further down and see what those... It looks like a farm. Oh, there's some sheepy boys. Sheepy boys are everywhere. I've walked around 5 minutes down the road now, and there are a few farms. There's a wind farm in the distance over there, but not much going on apart from some sheep and cows and a few farms. So I'll head up the other direction, take a walk up there and see if there's anything else. I've walked about 5 minutes in the opposite direction now and it's the same. There is a very long road extending way into the distance, so there's not much here. There's a few houses on this side, but it's very quiet and very remote. Actually, behind the trees here, this looks like an old school or church maybe? I'm not sure. The building next door, there was a sign there saying schoolhouse. I think someone lives in there. This was maybe the old schoolhouse, and then beside it was the church in there, and then the road to nowhere. No, the road probably goes to somewhere actually. As I've been walking around here, there are a few houses, and it must be really nice to live in such a quiet and remote place, but then be so connected by having the train station just there. So from this train station you can go to Inverness. From Inverness you can catch the Caledonian sleeper train. It's the overnight sleeper train, and that goes down to London via Glasgow or Edinburgh. You can also catch the train to Thurso or Wick, so in those places there'll be more shops as well. So even though it's so remote, it's still quite well connected. Made it back down now to the station, and the train is due to come in around 20 minutes. So in 15 minutes time I will press the button to notify the driver to request a stop here at the station. And this is the last train back to Inverness today, so it's really important that the train does stop, because if it doesn't, I'll be stuck here all night. At least it won't be as bad maybe as being stuck on St Kilda, but I don't have a tent or any sleeping equipment. So fingers crossed everything runs smoothly and the train stops and picks me up. Okay, it is 4:43, so I'm going to press it now, a little bit early. Oh, look, the screen changed and it's come on green. Request stop. Wow. That's so exciting. It worked. Okay, I'm going to stand on the platform now and wait for the train. Okay, it's so quiet here. So far, we don't have any train friends joining me here. only me. Waiting on the platform for the train now. Should be coming in around 2 or 3 minutes. It's so cold today. It's around 6 degrees Celsius, I think. I can hear the train coming. It's beeping. Okay, it looks like it's coming and it's slowing down. Okay, I just waved as well. Okay, so here is the train. Great.
How are you doing?
Time to go back to Inverness. It was really nice to visit this part of Scotland and I enjoyed my return journey. When I arrived back into Inverness, I saw the Caledonian sleeper train on another platform. I'd love to take that train someday. Thanks for watching and I'll see you next time.